We have no knowledge of what her whereabouts have been for the past 9 days.
Pay attention to the young woman stepping out of this SUV. August 22nd, 2025, in Lanham, Maryland. 19-year-old Dacara Thompson. It looked like an ordinary night, a quick trip to get gas, a simple errand before heading home. But this video hides a disturbing secret. Just minutes after it was recorded, Dacara vanished. And the only clue she left behind was a text message to her father. "I should be back soon. I love you. Good night."
Can see the missing posters here, and in this specific area is where they found her car. They found her ID, there was money and her phone inside of the car, but no signs of her. That's also why they had the vigil nearby here to really get community members around here really thinking, because any information could help.
2 days later, her car was found abandoned in Hyattsville. Her belongings were still inside, but Dacara was gone. And then, a week later, a body turned up off Route 50 in Anne Arundel County. Was it her? Or does this case hide something even darker? Before we begin, I need you to stop scrolling and think. Another young woman is missing, another family is broken, and another story risks being buried in silence, unless people like you choose to pay attention. If you believe no parent should ever wait by the window for a child who never comes home, hit subscribe right now. Join the people who refuse to let these stories fade. And if you won't, then go to the comments and tell us why. Tell us why you don't care. Tell us why another missing teenager isn't worth 30 minutes of your time. Because by the end of this story, you'll understand why silence is the cruelest weapon of all. I should be back soon. I love you. Good night. These were the last words 19-year-old Dacara Thompson ever sent to her father. Words of reassurance. Words of love. But she never came back.
My daughter was missing for 2 years and a half, and the Lord just led me to come here and pray for her and give encouragement words to the mother and the father.
On the night of August 22nd, 2025 in Lanham, Maryland, Dacara left home for what should have been a simple errand. She told her father she was going to get gas, a trip that should have taken minutes. Instead, it became the beginning of a nightmare. Cameras captured her SUV pulling in. At 10:43 p.m. she stepped out and began walking toward Riggs Road. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. 2 days later, police found her 2013 white Ford Edge SUV abandoned in Hyattsville. Inside, they discovered her purse, her wallet, her ID, everything she would have needed, but her phone and her key fob were missing. And so was Dacara. She wasn't the kind of daughter to disappear. Her mother said, "She always calls, she always checks in, something is wrong." And the community believed her. Friends, neighbors, strangers, all of them gathered in prayer circles, lighting candles, begging for answers. On August 31st, 9 days after she vanished, a body was found off Route 50 in Anne Arundel County, a grim discovery just miles from where she was last seen. Authorities said the remains matched Dacara's description, but even now, the truth is uncertain. The medical examiner has not confirmed an identity. For her family, the wait is unbearable. Is their daughter gone forever? Or is the body someone else's child, another family's nightmare? What really happened to 19-year-old Dacara Thompson on that quiet August night? How does a teenager vanish in minutes, leaving behind only an SUV and a goodnight text? And why, days later, does a body appear by the side of a highway? This is not just another case. This is the story of a daughter who promised to come home, but never did, and of a family waiting for answers that may never come. To understand the weight of this story, you need to know who Dacara Thompson was. At 19 years old, she lived with her family in Lanham, Maryland, a young woman on the edge of adulthood, with her whole life still ahead of her. Her family describes her as responsible, dependable, and deeply loving. She wasn't the type to vanish without a word. In fact, she was known for the opposite. Dacara always checked in, whether she was out late, with friends, or just running errands. Her parents could count on a text or a call. She never left them in the dark. That's why her disappearance was so alarming. This wasn't rebellion. This wasn't carelessness. This was out of character in every possible way. When a teenager goes missing, it's easy for the public to assume they just ran away. But those who knew Dacara never believed that for a second. She wasn't the type of daughter who would just disappear. And that single fact is what makes this case so terrifying. August 22nd, 2025, a Friday night in Lanham. The Thompson household was calm, safe, ordinary. But sometime before midnight, 19-year-old Dacara picked up her car keys. She told her father she was going to grab gas. Nothing more, nothing unusual. Just a small errand before heading to bed. She was expected back within minutes. That's the kind of daughter she was, dependable, thoughtful, never the type to leave her family waiting or worried. "I should be back soon. I love you. Good night." 3. At 11:50 p.m., her father's phone lit up with this message, loving, routine, the kind of text that lets a parent breathe easy, but it would be the last message he ever received from her. Moments later, surveillance cameras captured her SUV pulling into Hyattsville. She parked, stepped out, and walked toward Riggs Road. No one knew it then, but this was the final time anyone would see her alive. From that moment on, silence, no calls, no footsteps back through the door, a simple goodnight text. transformed into a haunting goodbye, and the question that still hangs heavy in the air: what happened to Dacara after she walked into the darkness? By the next day, August 23rd, the search for 19-year-old Dacara Thompson had already begun, and then came the first disturbing discovery. Her 2013 white Ford Edge SUV was found abandoned in Hyattsville, just miles from where she lived. Inside, investigators found her wallet, her ID, credit cards, even $60 in cash, everything you'd expect her to keep with her, left behind. But two things were missing: her cell phone, and the key fob to her SUV. It was as if someone had stripped away the only tools she had to reach out, or escape. Cameras confirmed what police already feared. Dacara had parked here, she had stepped out, she had walked off into the night, and she never came back. So why would she leave everything behind, except her phone? Was it her choice, or did someone make that choice for her? As word spread, the community came together. Vigils were held in Hyattsville. Neighbors, friends, even strangers lit candles, prayed, and clung to hope that Dacara would be found safe. Her father could barely contain his heartbreak. "She told me she'd be back soon," he said. "She said goodnight. I just want my daughter home." For him, that final text wasn't comfort anymore. It was torment, a reminder of how quickly normal can turn into a nightmare. Reporters covered the vigils, amplifying the family's pleas. They emphasized what everyone already knew, that this disappearance was out of character. Dacara wasn't reckless, she wasn't distant from her family, she wasn't the kind of teenager who ran away without a trace. And here's where I have to stop and ask you something. If this was your daughter, if this was your sister, would you want the world to look away? If your answer is no, then prove it. Subscribe right now, so that stories like Dacara's are never forgotten. And if you won't, then go to the comments and explain why. Explain why another family's pain doesn't deserve your attention, because silence is exactly what allows cases like this to fade. The shock rippled far beyond her family. A young woman who was known for her responsibility, her closeness, her love, had simply vanished. And the question that echoed through the crowd that night was the same one investigators still wrestled with. Where was Dacara? On September 1st, just over a week after 19-year-old Dacara Thompson vanished, a shocking discovery was made. Off Route 50 in Anne Arundel County, investigators found a body. Authorities revealed that the remains shared similar physical characteristics to Dacara. For her family, those words landed like a hammer. The fear that had haunted them since the night she disappeared was suddenly very, very real. Imagine standing in that moment, waiting for the phone call no parent ever wants, knowing a body has been found, but not knowing if it's your child. That unbearable space between hope and heartbreak. Police confirmed only this: the identity was not yet confirmed. An autopsy and forensic testing were pending. Until then, Dacara was still officially missing. And this is where I need to stop and ask you again. If this was your daughter, your sister, your friend, wouldn't you want the world to keep watching? Don't scroll past. Don't stay silent. Subscribe now so these stories don't disappear with the victims themselves. And if you won't, then go to the comments and tell us why. Tell us why a family's nightmare doesn't deserve your voice, because silence is the reason so many cases are forgotten. For now, the only truth was this: a body had been found. And for Dacara's family, the fear that the worst had already happened was almost impossible to silence. As the hours stretched into days, the investigation surrounding Dacara Thompson's disappearance grew larger. The case is now in the hands of multiple agencies: the Prince George's County Police Department, the Maryland State Police, and the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. Here is what investigators know for certain. On the night of August 22nd, Dacara parked her white 2013 Ford Edge in Hyattsville. Surveillance shows her walking toward Riggs Road, Warren Road. By the next day, her SUV was discovered abandoned, her wallet, ID and cash left inside, her phone and key fob missing. And on September 1st, a body with similar characteristics was recovered off Route 50 in Anne Arundel County. But here is what we don't know. Who, if anyone, did Dacara meet that night? Why did she leave her car and walk into the dark? And what exactly happened after that final step toward Riggs Road? Online, rumors swirl. Some speculate she left by choice, others claim she was lured away, but investigators have not confirmed any of it. The truth is simple: there is no evidence yet to explain why she vanished, or who might be responsible. And until the medical examiner finishes the autopsy, even the body found off Route 50 cannot be officially confirmed as Dacara. This is the part that chills the most: the uncertainty. Families are forced to live between hope and despair, while strangers trade theories online. So I'll ask you again, if this was your daughter, would you want people scrolling past? Or would you want them to keep watching, keep talking, keep demanding answers? Subscribe now, so that silence doesn't bury this case. And if you won't, then explain why in the comments. Because looking away is the one thing we cannot afford. Right now, the investigation is a puzzle, with too many missing pieces. And every unanswered question only deepens the mystery of what really happened to 19-year-old Dacara Thompson. As of today, Dacara Thompson is still officially listed as a missing person. The body discovered off Route 50 has not yet been confirmed. The autopsy results, and with them the truth, are still pending. For her family, it's an unbearable cliffhanger, trapped between hope and heartbreak, waiting to hear whether their daughter is still out there, or if the nightmare has already come true. These words, once filled with comfort, now hang over this case like a haunting question mark. What really happened to 19-year-old Dacara Thompson? And now I want to ask you, what do you think happened to Dacara? Was she lured away? Did she meet someone that night, or was there something more sinister waiting for her after she left her car? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because every perspective, every shared voice, keeps this story alive. If you believe her story deserves answers, don't scroll away. Subscribe right now, share this video, and make sure her name is never forgotten. And if you won't, then go to the comments and tell us why. Why another family's pain isn't worth your voice, because silence is what buries the truth, and we can't let that happen again. Dacara Thompson, missing since August 25, 2025. Until answers come, her story isn't over.